It has been a very long, painful, and disastrous season for our Las Vegas Raiders, but today it finally comes to an end. And in our final showcase game of the year, we'll be taking on the Colts, Anthony Richardson. And not just that, but the man we traded there earlier this season, Davante Adams. We will be facing off against our former superstar wide receiver as the Colts have already locked up a playoff spot, meaning the first round pick we got for Davante Adams won't particularly be a great one, but we are more than happy to be taking on a second first round pick. And with this team, we're going to need a lot of players. We're going to need a lot of help going into this offseason. But we'll see if we can maybe make a statement a bit and get some momentum going into next year and try to look a bit more confident than we have in recent weeks. We start this game with Aiden O'Connell under center. Handoff, Josh Jacobs right side, and Josh Jacobs will get just a yard. But Aiden O'Connell, who will close out this season, and this team will be moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo in the offseason. We'll see if Aiden O'Connell will be the quarterback going into next year. I mean, we maybe prefer he doesn't, but on third down, O'Connell showing that he has a lot to learn as he almost throws an interception, but we'll give the ball to the Colts. But we'll see if Aiden O'Connell or a draft pick, free agency, trade. We have a lot of avenues to try to get a quarterback, and O'Connell's in the mix, but he's definitely not our top choice as Anthony Richardson gets picked off by Nate Hobbs. He threw a quick slant and undercutting Michael Pittman was Nate Hobbs, and Hobbs, finally forcing a turnover as this defense has been bad in a lot of aspects, but one aspect that's been really bad at is turnovers as Josh Jacobs gets us to a 3rd and 1, but we have not forced many turnovers. You've seen in the games that we have played, this is our 8th game of the season. We forced, you can count on one hand the amount of turnovers we forced, as on 4th and inches, Josh Jacobs gets stuffed by DeForest Buckner, and an impressive start for the Colts defense to stuff our run game as Anthony Richardson on a read option. Max Crosby can't get him from behind, and Anthony Richardson runs ahead for double-digit yards, and it'll be read option again. Anthony Richardson gets a block from Davante Adams, and Anthony Richardson straight into the end zone. Touchdown, Colts! And Anthony Richardson showing why he's about as dominant of a run threat as you can get at the quarterback position. A sight all too familiar for the Raiders. It is a 7-0 deficit to start this game as we check down Josh Jacobs underneath, and Jacobs, we're going to be shutting him down a little bit to close this season. We're going to see a bit more of Zamir White this game, as we really don't want to see Josh Jacobs get hurt or anything going into next year, but we should have probably hit that pass to Jacoby Myers, as there's the aforementioned Zamir White getting a carry for the first down. Now quick throw outside, that's DeAndre Carter, and DeAndre Carter will have about 20 yards on a first down. O'Connell back to the air, and we go underneath Austin Hooper with the catch, and Hooper will get just 4 yards as O'Connell the air once more, and he's rolling to the right, throwing across his body to the left, and Josh Jacobs cannot get that ball as now we go screen. That's a lot easier to get the ball in Jacobs' hands as Josh Jacobs will try and run through a man, but no one wanted to step up to him. Now quick throw outside. Trey Tucker gets lit up and he loses a yard. Play action now as O'Connell will throw. He's got a man, and it's caught. Jacoby Myers to the 3-yard line, and we finally hit on a bit more of a downfield pass. We've been struggling to hit these 20-plus yard plays. It's Josh Jacobs outside. Touchdown, Raiders. And Josh Jacobs finds the end zone early in this one. Okay, nice little drive there from the Raiders. 7-7 early on against the playoff Colts team as Jonathan Taylor gets just a yard on the play. And Anthony Richardson got to watch out for his legs alongside Jonathan Taylor's legs. It's a really dangerous, dynamic duo in the backfield as how you run read option. I mean, what's the better option? Trying to stop Anthony Richardson on the edge or Jonathan Taylor inside as they force an incompletion on that play. Second down, and Anthony Richardson will throw, and there's Davante Adams. Adams in this offense hasn't exploded for a crazy season statistically as he's just hovering around the 1,000-yard mark. But, I mean, he provides a really great threat as if you want to go play action. Davante Adams down the field is going to be dangerous, and underneath, Davante Adams can also be pretty effective. He's effective everywhere on the field as he gets another catch there. And Anthony Richardson will hand off Jonathan Taylor, but we were ready for that when we committed to Taylor. Now quick RPO, and we get the stop there, and we're going to take the ball back. That's a nice play by the defense to stop them as Aiden O'Connell on the bootleg rolling out, throwing to Josh Jacobs, and Jacobs has a lot of room to run, and Josh Jacobs north of 25 yards on that play as O'Connell will get hit as he's thrown and incomplete. 2nd and 10, O'Connell will throw once more, and that's picked off. That's a bad throw, and it's intercepted, and the Colts taking it back, and the Colts will have a great field position. Eric Rowe with the interception as Jonathan Taylor on the next play, and Davante Adams has been a really great blocker, too. He's helped the run game in more ways than one. As quick throw, and Davante Adams, he helps in the run game, he helps in the pass game, he helps in the red zone. Touchdown, Colts. And the Colts take a 14-7 lead as O'Connell will drop to throw up top. Michael Mayer tried to get the 50-50 ball to Mayer, and it did not work out. Josh Jacobs cuts inside, a really nice cut. Good vision from Jacobs as he gets a first down as O'Connell will throw quick. There's Trey Tucker, but he can't hang on. Trey Tucker's got to be a bit better. He's not really shown us much so far. So O'Connell almost gets picked off again. A little fortunate there. 3rd and 10. Aiden O'Connell will throw, and Tucker can't hang on as it was swatted around, and defender got a hand on the football. As we go to the Colts now, with Anthony Richardson play action to Taylor, throwing over the middle, and he missed it. That was an open man. 3rd and 10. Can the defense get off the field? And yes, they can. Davante Adams can't hang on as O'Connell now takes over in great field position. But speaking of great, that was a great play to make a tackle on Jacobs. Free rusher off the edge, and he gets hit. Aiden O'Connell hit as he's thrown. 3rd and 10 now. O'Connell will throw over the middle, and that should have been intercepted. Eric Rowe should have had a second pick. Richardson with the play action. He will just stand in there, clean pocket, and throw a laser, and that's just too easy. Great protection, great play action, great everything. There is another play action from Richardson. He'll throw Jonathan Taylor leaking out of the backfield, and he got through, and he gets a first down. And Jonathan Taylor now on the ground will pick up 3 yards as Richardson back to the air. It's been a great balance, and he misses Davante Adams, just short-hopped it as play action once again over the middle, and that's caught first down, and a broken tackle into the red zone almost at the 23-yard line. Quick throw outside, and just nowhere to go with that one. The bubble screen, both teams utilizing that play as Jonathan Taylor now puts it in the red zone. It'll be 3rd down and 6 to go. Richardson, clean pocket, and all the time, and Jonathan Taylor slips a defender, does not get the first down, but they are going to go for it on 4th and 1, and it's swatted away. Divine Diablo. That's a big call, and the Raiders flip some momentum maybe in their favor. Can they go down the field to try to tie this game as Josh Jacobs will break a tackle and get out of bounds after a 6-yard gain on first down. Jacobs will hand off again, and he'll get it to a 3rd and 2. Jacobs will fake it to him. Bubble screen, DeAndre Carter. Similar play from earlier as DeAndre Carter once again gets a first down on a bubble screen. Zamir White now into the game. And Zamir White, we're trying to see what we have with him. He hasn't been all that impressive this season, but we'll see if he can have a bit better of a performance here late in the season as he sticks around for a couple of plays. Now we fake it to him and roll out. Aiden O'Connell hit as he's thrown, and another pass that just hits the dirt as Josh Jacobs will take a carry, and Jacobs will get us to a 3rd and 9 as O'Connell spreads the field. We have Jacoby Myers who breaks a tackle, and Jacoby hard to bring down, but it won't really net much as 4th down. We are going for it. Jacobs breaks the tackle, and Josh Jacobs breaks the tackle of Shaq Leonard, and that's a first down. Josh Jacobs. It was an aggressive call from both sides as they went for it on 4th down. We stopped him. We go for it on 4th down. We get it. And now Zamir White has a lot of room, and Zamir White makes a man miss, and White all the way down to the 2-yard line. And the momentum may be shifting as Josh Jacobs gets the hand up, and Jacobs can't get in. 2nd and goal, under 2 to go. Closer to a minute as Jacobs once again, this time he's got it, his 2nd touchdown of the game, and Josh Jacobs will tie this one up, and the Raiders are playing a pretty solid first half, I will say. Team looking better than they have all year as it was a quick 3 and out for the Colts. It only took us about 20 seconds to stop them. as it'll be Amir Abdullah on the punt return, and Abdullah will get brought down at the 21-yard line. And with just 40 seconds to go, can O'Connell lead this offense down the field and get us something, as that's a catch on the sidelines. Good job keeping your feet in. And O'Connell really got the Raiders moving on offense as Josh Jacobs, he'll get 5 yards as we can try to get a lead going into halftime. Something I don't know if we've ever seen that, as Aiden O'Connell will throw down the field. Dangerous pass, swatted away. Jacoby Myers, the intended receiver, as it is 3rd and 5. O'Connell over the middle. There you go. That's Trey Tucker wide open, sitting in between the zones. And at midfield now, O'Connell has some room to operate, and he's rolling left. He's going to throw one up to Josh Jacobs, and Jacobs with the catch. He gets bumped out of bounds, and we're at the 10-yard line. O'Connell throw outside and complete. But with a couple of seconds to go, O'Connell will throw end zone. Jacoby Myers, touchdown. And the Raiders are going to take a lead into the half. And the Raiders are shocking the Colts right now. And they're celebrating the best half of football they've played all season. After the brutal massacre that was that Chargers game, they came back. They played a really tight one against the Chiefs that went to overtime. And here today, playing well. This is the best this team has looked all year. Over 250 yards of offense to the Colts just having 200. Aside from that first drive, we've not really struggled too much in the run game. And I think this team's putting something together, looking competent. And I'm excited to see what this team can do in the second half. Let's see if we can pull off a big upset against the Colts. Second half kicks off with Anthony Richardson, and the Colts taking control of the football as they throw on first down and will convert a first down, 12 yards, and they will hand off now to Jonathan Taylor, who will get stuffed in the backfield, loss of 1. Now quick bubble screen, as we've done a couple bubble screens left, they've done a couple bubble screens right, and Anthony Richardson now 3rd down and 6, has a lot of time, finds Jonathan Taylor underneath, and Taylor gets brought down, but not before getting past midfield in a play action from Richardson over the middle. There has been a lot of these shotgun play action crossers over the middle, and that's been the Colts' go-to as Anthony Richardson spreads the field after a first down incompletion and a second down incompletion, missing Davante Adams. It's 3rd and 10. And Anthony Richardson hit as he's thrown, but Davante Adams with a diving grab, and he's got the Colts in the red zone. Now quick throw, broken tackle, and that's going to be a first down and more. Jelani Woods, great play, and Jonathan Taylor cleans it up. Touchdown Colts, and it's a tie game, 21-21. The Raiders take over. There you go, Jacoby Myers with the catch, and he's got 9, close to a first down. Zamir White in the game, and Zamir White will pick up the first down. White has gotten more playing time than he's gotten probably all year, as White will take another handoff, and Zamir White will get bumped out of bounds, but he got another 10. Jacobs checks back into the game, and Jacobs will take a sweep left. And breaking a tackle is Jacobs, and he fights ahead for 8. A good rushing attack is Zamir White. We fake it to him, and a quick throw, first down on the RPO. And the offense is looking so much more efficient. Where has this offense been all year? Good run game, balanced passing attack, and there's Josh Jacobs in the flats, and Jacobs will have 7 yards. All right, 3rd and 3, Jacobs will get stuffed, but it's 4th and 1, and we're going for it. We got stuffed last time, but not this time. It's Jakob Johnson, the fullback, getting like his 3rd carry of the season probably, as Zamir White will have 6 yards. And Zamir White, once again, he's playing really well, and now a quick bubble screen as Trey Tucker breaks a tackle, and that's pretty nice to get us to a 3rd and 1 situation where Josh Jacobs can come in, easily pick it up, and get us into the red zone at the 17-yard line. Jacobs, he takes another carry and gets stopped for just a single yard as Zamir White checks back in, and White on the edge breaks a tackle and only gets 2 yards, and now spreading the field. We got to go to the air. What has Aiden O'Connell got for us? Is he going to run for it? No, he's going to stop. Throw! Myers can't hang on, and it's going to be a field goal try for the lead. Daniel Carlson will knock it through, and the Raiders are back on top, 24-21, and it has been a great showing from the offense, and Anthony Richardson probably had to compete more than he thought. He didn't think it'd take, 20-plus points to beat the Raiders. It usually doesn't this season to beat us. Usually takes about, 15 to beat us, but it's a swat right there, heading for Davante Adams, and another receiver was in the area as well. But this time, Adams, a little bit of, congestion in the middle of the field. A couple players bumped into each other, but Davante Adams has the catch, and he has another one right there. And now Jonathan Taylor takes the carrying. Taylor, what a nice cut, and what a nice block! That was an amazing play from the Colts. A great cut, great blocking, and once again, a swat right there from Marcus Peters, as Richardson's going to roll left, throw, and there's Jonathan Taylor. Both running backs having a number of catches this game as play action. Coming through is a lot of defenders, and a couple of guys got in there, and the Colts are also going to settle for a field goal, and it is 24-24. Both offenses going back and forth, equaling and matching each other's points for points, and it is a tie game early on in the fourth quarter as Josh Jacobs will go ahead and get himself a first down. Zamir White play action to him as O'Connell will throw to Jakob Johnson, and it's the second Jakob Johnson sighting of the game. We go with a handoff. Josh Jacobs will power ahead, and it'll be 3rd and 2. Zamir White, we trust him to get the first down, and he does, but there's a flag on the play, and this entire drive might be upended with a holding penalty on Andre James, the center. 3rd and 11 suddenly. O'Connell outside. That's going to be a first down. And no, this drive ain't done yet. And we convert the big 3rd down. Josh Jacobs on the edge gets a block from Jacoby Myers. Will spring him for a first down and a little bit more. Zamir White checks in, and Zamir White gets a little caught in his offensive line. Jacobs back in now. We go stretch back to Jacobs. Good blocking on the edge, and Jacobs running over a man, and Josh Jacobs will get us into the red zone at the 16-yard line. Zamir White will head for the first down marker, trying to get to the end zone. Not quite, but it's 1st and goal at the 6. And Jacobs will run ahead and will get to the 2-yard line. Zamir White in the game now. Can Zamir get in? No, he can't. 3rd and goal at the 1. Can Jacobs finding his way in? And Josh Jacobs, no, 4th and goal at the 1. We're going for it. Josh Jacobs will find his way into the end zone, and Josh Jacobs has a hat trick of touchdowns, and Jacobs puts us on top 31-24, his 3rd of the game, and Anthony Richardson has to respond, and he finds Jelani Woods for 8 yards to start the next drive. Handoff to Jonathan Taylor, who sheds a tackle of Robert Spillane. Gets brought down, but he has the first down. Anthony Richardson outside. There's Davante Adams, and a great connection. These two are going to be great together as they develop more chemistry. And as Jelani Woods gets brought down, the Colts are already driving, looking to tie this game up. And they go down the field for Adams, and it's swatted away. And that's going to be 2nd down. Richardson got a lot of time in the pocket. He could have ran there, but he instead throws to Jonathan Taylor, who hangs on. He lined up out wide and was even beating our corners. So good of a receiver Jonathan Taylor is being in this game, as Richardson outside wide open is Davante Adams, and Adams has them set up 1st and goal. Richardson will throw outside, out of bounds, just threw it away, nowhere to go with the football. Richardson once again now, clean pockets, so many clean pockets, and it was a wide open man, Will Mallory, and he'll tie this game up. We got a good one to end this season, as potentially the final drive of the Raiders season if they could go down the field, run some clock, kick a field goal. But it's going to be a 3rd down deficit to overcome early on. O'Connell will throw, and he'll miss his man, Jacoby Myers. And with under 2 to go, Richardson takes over, throwing outside. Jonathan Taylor has it, 2nd and 3. And Anthony Richardson will drop to throw outside. Caught, no, incomplete from Jelani Woods. It was knocked away from him. 3rd down. They swing it to Taylor, who gets brought down in open field. That's big. With a minute to go, the Raiders have a chance to win this game. We throw a screen to Jacobs, and Jacobs running for a first down, gets out of bounds, saves us a timeout, and at the 30-yard line, high snap, draw play thrown off, 47 seconds to go. O'Connell takes the snap, rolling right, throwing over the middle, but he missed it. Third down, 40 to go. And the ball is thrown and incomplete. Just missed it under pressure. It got to him with 30 seconds to go. The Colts are going to have a chance, but not a really great one. But Jonathan Taylor slips through. And Jonathan Taylor, what a play from Taylor to really get this drive kick-started in a good way. Underneath, it's caught. First down, and with just a couple of seconds to go, Richardson has the offense in position, throwing out of bounds, 13 seconds to play. It's going to be play action. Richardson has Jelani Woods, and Jelani Woods will go all the way to the 16-yard line. And with the timeout taken, the Colts are in field goal range. Minshew to hold, and the kick for the win is good, and the Colts are going to walk out of here just barely with a victory, as O'Connell will launch one incomplete, and the Raiders gave it all they had, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough to win this game. But I can't act like this team didn't play way better than they had all season, and when you compare it to some of the games you've seen from this team earlier on, you can't be mad at this one. They played the best that they could, over 450 yards of offense. Josh Jacobs with a hat trick of touchdowns, and even Zamir White played pretty well. They did their thing, and unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. The Colts are a great team. They'll be in the playoffs. We'll see if they can make a run to the Super Bowl with Davante Adams, but good effort from the team. It's the last you'll see of this team on the field, but we still got another game to simulate, as against the Broncos to close the season, we pick up a victory, and I think we closed the season pretty strong those final 3 weeks, but we are able to pick up a big win over the Broncos. It doesn't really affect our draft pick too much, as we'll get into that a little later on, but speaking of the draft, we have our final update of the season for the draft. This is your college football update and the final one of this season, and we got lots to talk about. As we go straight to the right side of the screen, you see your Heisman Trophy winner is Thomas DeShong. And not to say it was a complete runaway, as Byron Rohit did have 200 first place votes, but Thomas DeShong overwhelmingly for what he did for that Oregon team. And speaking of that Oregon team, as we go to what happened in Conference Championship weekend, Oregon took down Washington in a super high scoring 45-42 thriller of a game, and DeShong works his magic, and not just that, the committee worked their magic a little bit, as Ohio State highly controversially dropping out and missing the college football playoffs. Ohio State only had one loss on the season, and their only loss was to Michigan, the #1 team. But their schedule consisted of not really anything difficult, whereas Oregon took the hard road. Of this top 15 that you see on their screen, they lost to Washington, but they beat Washington, they beat UCLA, they beat TCU, they beat Utah, and they've also beaten USC, who isn't listed here, but they are also a ranked team. They had a lot of quality victories and are the hottest team in college football, and they're getting their shot in the college football playoffs. Elsewhere, Georgia took down LSU in the SEC championship. Michigan over Iowa pretty handedly, a 30-point victory over Iowa, who was just an 8-win team. We have Texas taking down Iowa State in a pretty nice game. Texas won by 13 points. And we have Clemson in the rematch, beating North Carolina. North Carolina 0-2 against Clemson this year. Clemson decisively proving they are the top team in the ACC, which moves us on to bowl season. And I guess a little double header for you as we wrap up the college football season. The Peach Bowl. LSU takes down Cincinnati. Cincinnati was the big non-Power 5 school to get a BCS bowl game. Orange Bowl, Iowa State versus North Carolina. Iowa State pulls out the victory behind Vance Isak catching 2 touchdowns. We have the Fiesta Bowl, UCLA versus TCU in Byron Rohit's final collegiate game. He throws for 5 touchdown passes as UCLA comfortably beats TCU by 20 points. In the Sugar Bowl, Alabama versus Texas, and Alabama takes home the victory as Texas, despite winning their conference, could not take down Alabama. The Rose Bowl, it'll be Washington and Ohio State. And Ohio State maybe proved why that they did not deserve to be in the college football playoffs, because Washington beat them, but beat them pretty decisively. A 17-point victory as Tristan June goes up for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Which brings us now to the college football playoffs. Number 1 versus number 4, number 2 versus number 3. Clemson beat Georgia in a 24-20 lower scoring defensive game where Arwell Gannady had a pick 6 that proved to be the difference maker in the 3rd quarter of the game. Arwell Gannady, not known for his turnovers, but he made the big play in the big game and helps push Clemson to the national championship. And on the other side, Michigan versus the hottest team in college football, Thomas DeShong kept it rolling. A stunner of a victory as Oregon took down number 1 Michigan. Every game from Oregon was close, and this one was no different. It was a 31-33 victory where DeShong had to run wild for 138 yards and a touchdown, had another 212 yards through the air and 2 more touchdowns. And Oregon versus Clemson in the national championship is what it turned out to be. And you take the best defense in the nation against the most dynamic Heisman-winning quarterback, who's the hottest team in college football. And what do you get? Well, unfortunately, the Cinderella story of Thomas DeShong ended as Clemson took home the victory in another hard-fought game, 27-21. DeShong threw 2 picks, was sacked 4 times, and not to say he played a awful game, he did the best he could, but when you're facing the best defense in the nation, it's not really going to be an easy day, as that Clemson team did not allow many teams to go over even 20 points a game. They didn't even allow Georgia to get there. But Oregon had an incredible season. They did what they could, and Thomas DeShong has become the most polarizing player in this draft class, and we'll see where he ends up going. But it's been a fun college football season. We don't got any more players to talk about. We're basically done with college football till the draft, and we'll be getting into all that, and the draft is going to be a lot of fun. But hope you enjoyed this whole college football update and, the draft stories that I put together, and we'll see where all these players are going to be going and who's going to be making an impact in the league as we have a new crop of players coming in. Now, as we wrap up this season, every game has been played. We take a look at the statistics of our Raiders, as neither quarterback was able to even hit double-digit touchdowns, which is really poor. But Josh Jacobs turned around to have a great season, and he's following up on his All-Pro campaign with another Pro Bowl caliber season. 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns. What a year from him, and we are happy to have him for another 2 years in the receiving game. Jacoby Myers was our lead guy. 7 touchdowns for him is pretty solid. DeAndre Carter did play better than I anticipated, and Michael Mayer played fine, but this is a receiving core that's definitely going to get shaken up in the offseason. We're going to hope we can find some guys to really establish themselves outside of Jacoby Myers. Tackling, yeah, that's a lot of tackles from guys that you don't want to see get a lot of tackles. We should not be having multiple DBs be hitting 100 tackles like that, and it just shows how poor our run game was and how much teams really kept the ball and kept control of us. It was bad, and as you can see in the turnover department, I mean, not that good. Only like 8 interceptions, and we didn't force a whole lot of turnovers all year. 9 turnovers forced, I think that was. Daniel Carlson had a solid season. We didn't get the opportunity to score much, so he wasn't kicking a whole lot of field goals. But as you take a look at what happens around the league, Dak Prescott puts together a great season. Aaron Rodgers as well. A lot of great seasons from a lot of players. Tua, Goff, really efficient. Anthony Richardson, a lot of turnovers. Speaking of a lot of turnovers, Mac Jones and Justin Fields with a lot of turnovers, but a lot of players, putting their teams in position to potentially go far as, a couple backups got in there a little bit. On the ground, Aaron Jones. We see what Aaron Jones did in the game where he ran for over 200 yards against us in prime time, and he didn't really slow down as he seemed to do that to the whole league as he led the league in yards. You see Bijan Robinson with over 1,000 yards as a rookie. In the touchdown department, Saquon Barkley, 24 touchdowns. Incredible season from Saquon Barkley. And Javonte Williams put the ball on the ground a couple of times. We'll see if we can make him put the ball on the ground when we face him next year. And the receiving game, a lot of 1,000-yard receivers in a pass-heavy league. You see Travis Kelce still doing his thing. Brandon Ayuk with over 1,000 yards. And Davante Adams did just barely hit that 1,000-yard marker. I said he was hovering around it. The game against us is, what helped put him over. And Odell Beckham coming in for the Ravens. Not quite 1,000 yards, only 700, but put the ball in the end zone quite a bit. On defense, Divine Diablo led the league in tackles, but leading the league in tackles is a not amazing thing, as you don't want to have that many tackles. You'd prefer the tackles be spread out and your D-line gets a lot of them, so you don't have to get to the second and third level to where you're making all those tackles. But I think Divine Diablo had a really nice year, and we'll see where Divine Diablo's career takes him, as I think he was one of the only players this year that really had a breakout, looking forward to the future. He can be a piece for this team, and maybe he wasn't a piece we thought we would have going into this season, as AJ Cole also led the league in punts, and AJ Cole was incredible, inside the 20s galore, and he continues to show why he's maybe the best punter in the league. But yeah, we're not going to be spending too much time on punter stats, I guess. How about awards? Dak Prescott, MVP of the league. Jonathan Taylor is your offensive player of the season. Josh Allen, the edge rusher. Josh Allen, defensive player of the year. Anthony Richardson, rookie of the year, alongside Will Anderson. I mean, not really all that surprising there, as it's a lot of the same usual names that you will see in these categories, as Jamar Chase, best receiver. But as we look ahead to this team, the next episode will be the off-season video, and I put a lot of work into the off-season episode, as it's not going to be a typical Madden off-season, as I will have a whole draft special, and I made a lot of graphics and made a lot of stuff for this off-season, where I hope that it can be a fun experience for everyone, and hope everything goes well, as we have a fun draft ahead of us. We have potentially a lot of cap room if we can make some roster moves. I think it's no surprise that Jimmy Garoppolo won't be on the team next year. And we have some other roster moves we could make. We'll see if we can maybe make some trades. We need a quarterback. We need receivers. We need a lot. We need corners. We need interior D linemen. We need maybe a linebacker to go next to our guy over there in Divine Diablo. We need offensive line. We need everything. We need everything except, I guess, a running back and an edge rush. But take a look at the Pro Bowl. A lot of the usual names you see here, like Tyron Smith and Creed Humphrey and Laramie Tunsil, all on the offensive line. This team obviously didn't go crazy when it came to Pro Bowlers, but we hope that changes in the coming years. And Divine Diablo, though, made it. I think maybe he deserved it. I'm not opposed to him deserving it, but it's a nice accolade to have under your belt to make the Pro Bowl still. And the final thing we will look at is the Super Bowl, as the Bills take it home against the Eagles 17-14. Josh Allen wins Super Bowl MVP and gets his first ring, but that will wrap up this first year. It was a tough season, I know, but next year I promise will be a lot more exciting. And next episode will be our big off-season and draft special. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I hope you all enjoy the next one. I will see you in the off-season.